Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another broadcast from me, Laura, and today we have special guests, Patty. Say hi, Patty.
Hi, how are you?
And Randy.
I love this horse. You can see he's a trooper. There's no question about it. And he's just doing his job going along. But what I see happening with her is, first of all, she loves what she's doing so much, this rider. You can tell that she's worked very hard at this and she's trying to get everything perfect.
And she looks like she might be near our ages.
So as I look at her, what I'm seeing is that she's got this desire, she's got this love, but she's got no spring in her position. There's no flexing of the ankles, the knees, or the hips, and that's a result of her perching forward a little bit because she's not quite sure how to use her body to wrap it around the horse's leg or belly so that she has more security. But that's an easy fix for somebody like this. Do is start focusing on if she can feel the movement. Can you feel your ankle springing? Can you feel
that's important, right? You have to have that ankle in there
and the knees should be springy too. And the hip.
So Randy, let's take someone our ages, like in their 60s, that's doing this, and things are not as springy as they used to be. And so we have to take that into consideration also. And so just as we look at it and talk about those things, I think then we should talk about what one can do when we're not quite as springy.
This is a position error. You can see that she is not into her lower legs. Her lower leg is not stretching back and down because she's standing up on the front of her foot.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think this is position error. We were talking about the spring because I love that you talk about that. And I think it's such a good thing. And I think that just on a position error, her weight needs to be in her lower leg, her foot needs to be more forward, her hand needs to be more forward. So weight in her lower leg, which would push her foot forward a little, right, Randy?
Now let's even go one step beyond that. I mean, we got this foot on the stirrup thing. We got the of course, she's an eventer, right? So
that's okay, but she still needs this right balance. You know, everybody always says, well, they're eventers. Well,
no, I mean eventers, but that's why she's got more foot in the stirrup. Like her foot is, right jammed in there almost.
Well, she's using the back of her heel though, so she's not using the inside of her calf muscle.
She's hanging on with her Look, it appears that she's hanging on
at this second in time, right?
And the other thing that we talked about is that the front of her calf should be near the girth, and that inside of her calf should be against the horse.
That's where it reaches the horse. That's an interesting concept to bring up, is how much of the rider's lower leg should be on the horse. Because, we were all taught in the old days, wrap your leg around the horse, right?
Well, you need to wrap your leg around the horse. It's what's holding you on. I mean, let's go to some basic, simple stuff here. So to stay on over the top of a jump, you need to keep contact with your horse, with your lower leg.
As much as possible,
as much as possible. And you need to ride down the inside of your calf towards the front.
Yeah.
And you need to have that leg underneath you for balance.
Exactly.
So you have
has to be there.
Otherwise you're hanging on, as this lady is over this jump, hanging on to the horse's mouth. So you have this kind horse that's jumping the jump, and that's great. And he's doing a good job. And like Randy said, it looks like he's having a good time doing it. His ears are up. He doesn't particularly mind this ride.
No.
But he may be well used to it too. If she didn't have her reins, she'd fall off.
Exactly.
I mean, she'd fall off. She's holding on by her reins to the horse's mouth. If we can get the weight down in her lower leg. And
how would you do that? Get the weight down in her lower leg here.
Right.
She's gripping with her knees and balancing on her hands.
And her toes.
Pushing
on her toes. Instead of pushing the weight in down the back of her calf. Randy, scream at me if I'm wrong. Down the back of her calf, and the weight down in her heel, and using her heel as a shock absorber, her ankle as a shock absorber. In the perfect world, it would be much better. And her foot needs to be not quite so far in the stirrup, but that close up, you can see it more. You need to keep the ball of your foot in the stirrup to let your ankle work. And if your ankle's working, then the back of your calf is stretching. And if you hold your calf on the horse, the inside of your calf on the horse, and kind of hug the horse with your calf, then you always have a connection that's there when you need it.
Right, and it's not a tight hole, it's just a feel. And
It's
like
like hugging. Yeah, like you're hugging your horse.
yeah,
with
well,
your,
just like
yeah.
hugging, yeah.
So
Yeah.
what can we do to help this rider? So we've
Well-
all focused, all three of us are just focusing from her knee down.
Down.
How are we going to do that?
Okay, so let's just take it as it could be anybody, someone who's 12 or someone who's 50.
Yes,
Um,
it's a common position challenge.
Yes. And
Yes,
and so
exactly.
it's weight in the heel, stretching that ankle. So we know
Yep.
what the end result they want. I think a lot of exercise, making sure the stirrups are the correct length.
Yeah. Are these rider stirrups the correct
I
length?
think so. I think her stirrups
think so,
actually
too.
look pretty good. Randy, do you think?
Always going
Stirrups
back
are
to
fine.
the basics. I would go back to the basics and I would have her drop her stirrup and start feeling when her leg, because her tendency is when they pinch with their leg like that, what they're doing is they're locking up their knee. You know, and then of course nothing else can spring. So she's got
Right.
to be able to go out there and practice the basics and just feel where does she start locking up in her, usually it starts in their ankle and then up into their knee. But to feel when she starts pinching, because that's when she should be opening up her thighs so that her thighs slide down deeper into the saddle, which allows her weight to sink back more down into the lower leg and push it forward. But
Okay,
she can't
so-
do that as long as she's pinching.
And she's not going to be able to not pinch as long as she has that wedge. I don't know anything about it, but I would take the wedge off, and so that she can use her lower leg, because you can do the no stirrup thing even at the walk. So let's go, like in the perfect world, they can ride without stirrups. I mean, so many places don't do the without stirrup thing.
Right. And
And
for good reason.
physically, even just walking without stirrups. And then maybe sitting trot, Randy, without stirrups.
Laura.
I was going to say on a quiet, comfortable school horse.
Safe horse, right. And then one of the exercises that we all seem to like is the one where they do, for example, 3, 5, whatever steps. They'll do 3 steps sitting trot, 3 steps rising trot, 3 steps
Right.
point. And what I like about the people, because at first I know that doing the rising trot was a little different for you guys, but what it does is when they switch from position to position, especially the rising trot into the 2-point or back into the full seat, they have to learn how to use their position to be able to do it in the steps, because most people can't count to 3 when they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
No, you're right.
Randy, I like your exercise too with I say instead of having your knee bone pointing forward, have your knee bone pointing downward. And I think you call that one the magic button or something like that.
Right, because
The
that
magic button, I learned that a long time ago. I love the magic button. Margie Huff taught me the magic button.
Is that right? So
she learned it from
to
me.
push your knee down this way. So instead of your kneecap pointing this way, think of pointing your kneecap down that way.
Right,
That fixes a lot of
fixes a
error.
lot.
I was
Does
going to
it?
say, you guys talk about, I never heard about the magic button until Randy told me about it, but it makes so much sense. If there's, Randy, you explain it, because there's a
Sure
button
thing.
here.
It teaches a rider how to be able to create their own riding position. So for the magic button on this rider, if she was standing on the ground, I would draw an imaginary button above her kneecap, a little bit over towards the sides, and it's probably 3 to 4 inches around. And the first thing I ask them, because we're trying to get all their senses involved, is what's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color?
What's your favorite color, Laura?
This color right here.
All right, so I'm going to imagine, I'm going to touch, because I only do one side at a time. So I'm going to go over to one side, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to put this button right here, and then I press down with my hand like this on where that button is. And when I do that, what happens, and at the same time I'm doing that, I have to remember everything now. I push down on that, and then I have my hand behind their heel to put their lower leg in the right place. So it's like I'm pushing down like this here and going like this at the same time, if that makes any sense.
I love doing it with the little kids, because they all want to pull up in the fetal position, and it's kind of what this gal's doing.
It teaches them the spring. It teaches them where the spring is. So
Yeah,
that's why I like the magic button, because what happens is, now I forgot what I was talking about there for a minute. But with the magic button, once they learn the feel of the magic button, because they feel it come when you do it, you can do it even when you're standing or sitting. You can push down on your knee, like where you're sitting right now, push down on your knee and focus the weight so it goes to the back of your heel instead of to the front of your foot. Most people, when they push down on their knee, they automatically push it forward, which is what you're doing. Most riders do. So if you push on your knee and you think of pushing back, do you feel how it pushes the weight back into the heel instead of to the front of the foot?
Exactly. It's a good one.
I love the magic button. But anyway, so once the rider gets it, all you have to do is tell them to press their magic button, because the second step would be to have them actually press it so they feel what it does to their leg, so they can mimic what we've taught them to stretch down and back. And then they just, the button is in their mind, and then all you have to do is say, press your magic button.
Yes, and it works great. And it works great for little kids all the way up.
Right.
And the adults get a little, think we're silly, but it works. And then once it works, they go, wow.
I know.
And the little kids,
serious.
exactly. The little kids love it because it's funny. And as an instructor, it's nice. You have to keep them entertained as you're teaching them. Otherwise, you'll lose them.
Right.
Most little kids, their focus is not always there. So you have
adults, it's just getting them for them to feel comfortable getting that feeling that they need to be able to have. Like they're not sure where their body should be.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And the magic button's very cool. So if I were helping this lady at the horse show for the one class, I would work on pushing down in the back of her. Well, I do three things. I take out those wedge pads. They'd be gone. I would see if she can work on pushing her heel down going towards the jump. And then I would have her reach forward and grab the mane. I think that, and I would have her do that. And just those things. If she could do those things, it would help her jump immensely.
Right.
Yeah, I think. And that's just pretty simple, but I think when she felt the jump better or saw a picture, some people are very visual. So you have to take the pictures. And
thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. If you have any questions, please send us some questions and comments, put them in the comments. And what else am I supposed to say? I forget.
Say bye, have a great day, nice weekend, and hopefully things are opening up soon.
Yes, send us an email, thistleridge@hotmail.com.
Yeah, and remember, wait, I have something to say.
What?
Remember that Laura, Randy, and myself are available for clinics. And we would love to do that.
Yes, we would like to. Imagine if we could go to a clinic together.
We've talked about that, Randy. Yeah, wouldn't that be fun?
That would be awesome.
We'd have a really good time. I don't know if anybody learned anything.
There would be, what do you call those, metronomes and ropes and buttons and
all those things. Exactly. We'd have a good time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now go use this stuff. Thank you so much. Bye. Oh, wait a minute. We got one more comment. Going to get this last comment in. Great.
Okay. Great ESP, ladies.
Thank you. See you later.
Thanks,
Thank you.
bye.
See you next week for sure.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. I really want